Hey guys, it's Shannon from iHeartRadio Canada, joined by Tori Kelly. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's so nice to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I've been a fan since the YouTube days, so it's a little surreal. It's nice.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and I actually noticed when I was like doing my research that your birthday is December 14th, 92, and I'm December 4th, 92. So we're like a week.
Hey. Yeah, you're a little bit older just by
Yeah.
a hair.
Well,
Yeah, cool. December babies.
yeah.
Yes.
You like having your birthday so close to Christmas?
You know what? I feel like I can't complain because I know people who have it like closer to Christmas, and I've heard it's like, sometimes it gets kind of mushed together. But I've in the past I've done like holiday themed birthdays and kind of, mix them together. But I think it's still a little far enough to where I can like have my birthday vibes. But the one thing I do remember is like my birthday would always fall like right when everyone was just really busy, like it was like finals week for people in school, and it was like everyone was just trying to cram in everything before you get the holiday break. So that was the one complaint I would have to my mom for having me on
Yeah,
that
I
day.
know. I'm actually at my mom's house right now, and I like always get complain about it. I'm like, oh, December, like why'd you have to make it? But I can't even complain because the 4th isn't even that bad. But
Yeah.
I was hanging out with my mom today and we listened to your album and it really got us in the Christmas spirit. I feel like you've like kicked off our family Christmas here. And she approved. She loves the album. So you got the mom approval.
Thanks, mom. That's
Yeah.
great.
What made you decide to put out a Christmas album?
So I've always wanted to do a Christmas album. I mean, it's just one of those things that, and maybe it's not just me. Maybe it's like, there's probably other singers too, where you just kind of have it in the back of your head, like, oh, one day I'd love to do a Christmas album. I think Christmas music is it's just so like feel good, and I don't know. I've always loved it, and I've always pictured myself doing one. And there's been so many amazing albums, that people like other singers have had. So just like inspired by those. And of all the years to do one, I didn't think it would be this year, but it just kind of made sense. I think there's some other people that have the same idea as me, where it's like we're just, we're not doing anything. It's not like we can tour or anything. So we were just kind of probably free this summer. So I'm really lucky though. I have a home studio right here in my house. So that's pretty much where I was all of quarantine. I recorded an EP that I put out earlier this year and then went straight into Christmas music in like August. And it was like so hot in LA, and I'm singing like Let It Snow. It was hilarious.
Is it
But
hard to get into that Christmas mindset then when you're like it's still summer and you're in California?
at first, yes. But I think I mean, it's so strange because you have like with a Christmas album, I learned so much. You have so many deadlines you have to make. So, I mean, I think I got into the Christmas spirit like really fast, and I've just stayed in it. Like I feel like it's been Christmas like for half the year, but I do have these little like it's almost like a disco ball looking thing that I got on Amazon, and I was playing with it one time, and there's little like Christmas settings on it. So I had like red and green lights all over my studio when I was recording. So that helped a little.
Yeah. I feel like that's the best way to be in 2020. Just like make it Christmas as long as possible. That's like a good
For
way to,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
good way to deal with it. How do you even go about choosing which Christmas songs you want for this? Because for example, like Go Tell It on the Mountain is a song that I haven't heard since like church as a child. So I was like, that's such a unique one to choose for this, but I love it.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up that song because I grew up singing that song. One of my favorite songs growing up was a woman named Crystal Lewis, and her version of it I just grew up singing. I always loved it, so I chose that song specifically just because of like my personal attachment to it. And we kind of put a little like R&B spin on it, which is fun. But as far as the track list, that honestly was the hardest part. Like, not gonna lie, like the whole out of the whole process, I think like nailing down like what songs am I actually gonna do, that was so hard because there's so many great songs. So it kind of just, I mean, I just kind of went with the flow. It's like, okay, I know I want this song, and then what song would complement this one? And you also want to make sure you don't have like too many ballads, and you want to have kind of like a nice balance of everything. So it was really organic. And Babyface actually produced the whole thing, which is still crazy to say, but he really helped with that, like just kind of making it all feel cohesive and magical.
Yeah. What was the process like working with him and having him feature on one of the songs? That's crazy.
Yeah, he was, oh man, he's just a legend. Like he's amazing. I knew I wanted to bring in a producer of some kind just to help me like oversee it and make it all sound good. And I thought asking for him was like a long shot. I was just online one day looking at different Christmas albums. I saw his, and I was like, a light bulb went on, and I was just like, oh my gosh, he would be so amazing. And but I didn't think he was gonna say yes. I was like, I'm just gonna try. And my team reached out, and he said yes. And he was just such a joy to work with, and really collaborative too. Like he just made sure like I loved everything and was a part of the process. So yeah, he was great. He was so cool to hop on Let It Snow with me too, because he didn't have to do that. Like he already produced the whole thing, and then he also hopped on a song. So it was really cool of him.
Do you see yourself working with him again in the future? Maybe like non-Christmas related?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, this feels like the maybe this was like the start of something, because I mean I'm such a fan of him, and I think he's great. So yeah, I could definitely see in the future working with him again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like everyone would love to see it, especially with how great this album came to be. So that's so good. I love that. What's the process like creating an original Christmas song? Because that's got to be different than like any other original that you've made.
Yeah, it just felt more like a little more pressure, I think, just because it's kind of hard writing a Christmas song, because there's only so much you can really say. Like you can only be so creative with it, as opposed to like writing a regular song. You can kind of sing about anything. But yeah, there's a couple different angles like that we played with, and then ended up on using the two songs on their 25th and The Gift That Keeps on Giving as the originals, and then also Kid Again on Christmas if you count the Target version. But yeah, so that process was fun. I actually did all the originals over Zoom too, so we everything was like remote, and yeah, we just tried it out, and we are like, let's just experiment with some Christmas songs, and it worked out. So I love them. I love how they came out.
Definitely. Obviously, like that, it probably does change your music making process, like you said, over Zoom and things like that. Do you find this year in general has like altered the way that you create?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole Zoom thing has definitely been, I think we're all kind of starting to feel more comfortable with it. I know in the beginning, songwriters were like, what do we do? Like, this is so weird. And we were trying to write songs. And I think over time, at least for me, like it felt a little bit more natural. But yeah, as far as like just making music during this year, for me, like I feel really blessed to have this home studio, because I actually love recording on my own too, and just I did all the vocals and everything I did just by myself, and in my studio. So that's been really cool to have that, because it kind of brought me back to like when I was making music like in my parents' house in my old childhood bedroom, and I put out a couple EPs that way. So in a way, it was like taking me back to that time in my life, which was really cool.
Really, I feel like that's probably such an easy transition then, so especially compared to so many other artists who are just used to going to the studio and having other things. Yeah, the fact that you are capable of it, that's huge. That just opens it up for you. That's so great. I love that. You're performing Christmas in the Rockefeller Center. What can we expect from that? Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've actually done it before in the past, but obviously this year it might be a little different. I don't know how different it will be for the people watching. Maybe it'll feel the same, but it's a unique time, so to make sure everything's safe and everything. But yeah, I'm excited for sure. I mean, I love New York, and I loved it last time I did it. So it's cool going back and now having like my own Christmas music, because before I was just like, yeah, I'll sing some Christmas songs, and this time it's like, oh, I get to do like my actual album, which is really cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
One thing that I noticed on your Instagram, which I think is so cool, is the fact that you took part in the As She Is campaign, which I think is so nice, especially somebody like you and others who are involved in it, just to like remind people to look themselves and to not throw a filter on, which I think so many people are used to doing and looking at on Instagram these days. So is that what inspired you to want to do it and then get other people involved as well?
Yeah, so I got it, the campaign was sent to me like through my team, and they're just like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, right away, I was like, absolutely, like this. And I didn't even know yet what picture I was going to post or anything, but I was like, I know myself well enough to be like, you're gonna want to do this. Cause I mean, I know I'm not alone in like struggling with that. Like it's so easy just to throw a filter on. And now there's so many good filters too that it's like it's scary because I started, I mean, I got used to like seeing myself through a filter to where when you don't have one on, you're like, ugh, like, and that, you know, I don't want to feel that way. And it's hard. Like, I know it is because, you know, I think we all kind of deal with that, especially with just all of the, you know, seemingly perfect lives that are on our feeds every day. So, I mean, and I can even say, including mine, because I'm always posting like, you know, photo shoot pics and like I'm out and about and I'm singing and it might look a certain way, but it's like, you know, we all have our flaws and things that we deal with. So I wanted to, I kind of did it like more for myself, I think, to be like, hey, like post a pic with like nothing, you know, nothing on your face, like wet hair. So it felt really empowering to do that. And yeah, I hope it inspired people. I know I asked like Jojo and Alessia, who are really, really great people on top of being like really talented. I love them. And they were down to do it too. So yeah, I hope it's something that just continues to spread because it's really special what they're doing.
Totally. And then even like JoJo tagged Demi Lovato. So it's like gone on from there too. So you can already see it with so many other people, which I think is just like very nice to see. So that's good that you did that. Yeah, that's
I love seeing that.
Do you have any holiday traditions with your husband or anything you brought from like family growing up to now that you want to do?
Yeah, I feel like so Andre, my husband, we're it feels like we're still like newly married. It's been like a couple years, but I think we're still kind of figuring out like what our traditions are gonna be. The one thing that I've it seems to keep coming up, like the one thing that's really consistent from when I was a kid is my mom used to make, and well her mom used to make them too, but she grew up having orange rolls. I don't know if you've heard of these. It's basically just like cinnamon rolls, and it's literally like the Pillsbury, like just the most basic like thing to make. It's not like homemade or anything, but she would just like pop those in the oven, and instead of cinnamon rolls, it's like an orange frosting, and it sounds crazy, but it's so good. And I literally am obsessed with them. I have to have them every year. So that's probably one thing that I'll like take with me because that was like every year we did that.
Interesting. That's so unique. That's so random, but I'll take your word for it. It sounds delicious. Totally. Awesome, Tori. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.